Terrace doors at 6, the day still on the glass. A little gold on every chair as the city drifts on past. You slide your coat behind you, I set my menu down, and all the noise we carried in begins to leave the room somehow. I thought I only wanted a place to sit and breathe, but the minute that you smiled at me, the evening changed its speed. Terrace doors at 6, let the warm air in. Let the day unbutton slowly at the edge of skin. Terrace doors at 6, hold the goal this way. There are evenings that begin before the sun has gone away. You say the street looked beautiful, the way the shadows stretched, as if the city had decided to be softer than its best. The waiter folds a linen napkin, the ice arrives in clear small rings, and everything about the hour feels lighter than the day has been. No rush left in the voices, no edge left in the light, only the first kind of warmth that says the day may end up right. Terrace doors at 6, let the warm air in. Let the day unbutton slowly at the edge of skin. Terrace doors at 6, hold the gold this way. There are evenings that begin before the sun has gone away. Maybe this is what I wanted, not a night already deep, but the hour when work gives up its hold and the heart remembers how to breathe. A chair, a view, a lower tone, a first slow drink, a little grace, and someone making all that light look better in the place. Terrace doors at 6, keep the city near, but not enough to take the room from what is happening here. Terrace doors at 6, I think the evening starts in the moment daylight loosens from the corners of the heart. Terrace doors at 6, leave the warm air there. Golden hour aperitif, honey on the stem, a little city in the glass, and all the light caught in it. You turn the bottle toward the sun, it throws one amber line across the table, cross your hand, across the part of me that minds. The day is not yet ended, the night has not begun. We're in the narrow, lovely place where both belong to one. Golden hour aperitif, stay before the blue. This is where the daylight learns to lean a little toward the moon. Golden hour aperitif. polished little detail feels truer than the daytime did. No need for darker candles, no need for midnight's art. This hour already knows enough to loosen up the heart. Golden hour aperitif, stay before the blue. This is where the daylight learns to lean a little toward the moon. Golden hour aperitif, warm and easy glow. Some nights begin in quiet gold before they turn to low. Maybe all the best beginnings happen somewhere in between. Not in sunlight, not in darkness, but the seam where both are seen. A table not yet shadowed, a sky not yet withdrawn, and someone sitting opposite who makes the whole thing warm. Golden hour aperitif, hold the terrace light, make the room remember gold a little deeper into night. Golden hour aperitif, don't let the edge move fast. I think I like the way this hour makes bright things want to last. Golden hour aperitif, gold before the blue. Citrus in the glass, twist of orange in the light. A little bitter, a little sweet, like this perfect in between of night. You lift the peel and laugh at me for watching every move. I say the evening gave me eyes, it didn't tell me what to do. I like the way this hour lets everything stay light, not shallow, not untrue, just bright enough for first delight. Citrus in the glass, sharp and warm and gold. A little spark of evening before the air grows cold. Citrus in the glass, stay upon the rim. I think the best kind of romance starts elegant and thin. You tell me you like flavors that don't rush to be sweet. I say maybe that's why evenings always taste better than the day. A breeze slips through the open rail and touches both our sleeves, and every polished thing around feels lighter than it needs to be. No rush too deep in anything, no need to make it more. The first good part of evening is this easy glowing door. Citrus in the glass, sharp and warm and gold. A little spark of evening before the air grows cold. Citrus in the glass, stay upon the rim. I for the balance of the taste. A little sweet, a little bitter, and still enough to stay. A little city under us, a little sky above, and one bright orange line teaching daylight how to love. Citrus in the glass, keep your color there. On the stem, the rail, the twilight, and the cooling city air. Citrus in the glass, don't lose your fragrant skin. The evening's just beginning now. Let the rest of light come in. Citrus in the glass, bright twist on the rim. White linen, warm air, folded neatly on the table. The kind of care that tells you this room intends to keep you here. You smooth the corner of the cloth. I turn my glass once in the light, and all the little formal things make the evening feel more right. There is something in the polish that makes the hour breathe, like elegance can sometimes be a softer form of ease. White linen, warm air, hold the day in place. Let the polished part of evening settle gently on this space. White linen, warm air, stay before the blue. I like the world a little more when it's arranged around you. You say good rooms make better talk. I say I think you're right. They make the voice turn lower and the edges all grow kind. A basket of bread arrives between us. We break the crust in two, and suddenly the whole small scene feels older than it is. No need to fill the silence, no need to outshine the room. The best kind of beginning leaves a little breathing room. White linen, warm air, hold the day in place. Let the polished part of evening settle gently on this space. White linen, warm air, stay before the blue. I like the world a little more when it's arranged around you. Maybe that is what I wanted. Not noise, not spectacle, but the way a careful table can make the heart grow still. The cloth, the bread, the cooling light, the city held outside, and one good face across from me making all the details right. White linen, warm air, keep the terrace mild. Let this early evening linger just a little while. White linen, warm air, I think I understand how warmth and order side by side can steady both the hands. White linen, warm air, light on cloth and glass. First pour at 6, read along the glass, a slow line leaning downward like a whole day giving way at last. You say you can feel your shoulders dropping with the room, as if the bottle knows exactly how to lower every noon. The day is still behind us, but not enough to stay. It loosens in the stem and leaves the rest to fade. First pour at 6, let the bright day go. Not in sadness, not in haste, just in a slower flow. First pour at 6, hold the line in red. There are nights that start by teaching how to set the daytime down. Yeah. You ask if I always notice the moment hours tilt. I say only when the room is right, and this one has the skill to catch a city at its edge and keep the sharpness out, to let the table take the strain of all we carried in. No need for deeper midnight, no need for later art. This first red line is already enough to quiet down the heart. First pour at 6, let the bright day go. Not in sadness, not in haste, just in a slower flow. First pour at 6, hold the line in red. There are nights that start by teaching how to set the daytime down. Maybe that is why I love this first intentional pause. Not the end of anything, but the easing of what was. A glass, a hand, a lower tone, a table facing west, and someone turning toward me just as the sun begins to rest. First pour at 6, stay inside the stem, leave the day outside the room and don't let it back in. First pour at 6, I think I feel it now, the little grace of being allowed to slowly set the world down. First pour at 6, last line catch and go. Olive dish between us, green against the white. A little salt, a little oil, a little gold from fading light. You reach across and take one first, then hold the bowl toward me, as if the smallest common thing could mean community. The evening is still playful, the room is still half day, and every tiny thing we share makes the distance less afraid. Olive dish between us, small and green and bright. A little taste of evening before the blue of night. Olive dish between us, leave the bowl right there. Some good things start with nothing more than one thing two hands share. You tell me stories of a city you loved once by the sea. I tell you I can almost see it in the way you hold the stem. The street below grows gentler, the table grows more near, and what began as polished ease now almost feels sincere. No hurry yet for secrets, no need for more than this. A bullet breeze, one lifted laugh, and almost missing what it is. Olive dish between us, small and green and bright. A little taste of evening before the blue of night. Olive dish between us, leave the bowl right there. Some good things start with nothing more than one thing two hands share. Maybe that is why I like the opening side of night. It lets the table do the work and keeps the feeling light until the room has earned enough to hold a deeper tone without ever breaking the grace of how it started. Olive dish between us, stay upon the cloth. Let the first small signs of evening keep unfolding soft. Olive dish between us, I think I see it clear, how the simplest gesture can make the whole room feel more near. Olive dish between us, green against the white. Soft sun on the bottle, warmth along the curve, like the glass is holding daylight longer than it should. You tilt it just a little, and the label catches flame. Not fire, only one thin ribbon of the day before it changes. The terrace hums without a crowd, the air is still and wide, and all the room seems grateful for the light that's taking time. This is the hour I like, when brightness learns restraint, when everything grows richer without becoming faint. Soft sun on the bottle, stay there while you can. Make the room and everything in it gentler than I planned. Soft sun on the bottle, low warmth on the glass. I didn't know the end of day could move this slow and last. You ask me if I think some places know the right time to dim. I say yes, the careful ones do. They let the daylight settle in. The waiter clears the smaller plate. The bottle leans halfway, and every little sign of time makes me want the hour to stay. No need for dark or midnight, no need for loud display. This line of light across the bottle has already found the way. Soft sun on the bottle, stay there while you can. Make the room and everything in it gentler than I planned. Soft sun on the bottle, low warmth on the glass. I didn't know the end of day could move this slow and last. Maybe I came for the terrace, maybe I came for the drink, but now I stay because the room has given us the time to think. And all the thinking turns to feeling by the time the sunlight bends the scent. Soft sun on the bottle, keep the terrace mild. Let the warm and patient hour stay a little while. Soft sun on the bottle, I think I understand why some evenings hold their shape by lying warm across the hand. Soft sun on the bottle, last gold on the glass. The city in honey light, windows warm below, 1,000 squares of amber where the office day lets go. You rest against the railing, then turn and take your seat, as if the whole bright grip below has softened at your feet. The terrace holds a gentler law of lower tones and glass, of letting everything outside continue somewhere past. I think the heart likes height when evening starts to bend. It makes the world below seem brief and the table more like home. The city in honey light, slow and golden clear. All that restless concrete looks surprisingly sincere. The city in honey light, under the open air. I like the way the whole world shines a little softer there. You ask me if I miss the noise when I'm this far above. I say only sometimes when I need a place to lose my thoughts. But not tonight, not with this air, not with the bright low sun, not with the bottle breathing red and the easy hour begun. No need to outrun anything, no need to prove we tried. Some evenings simply open up when we stop keeping pace outside. The city in honey light, slow and golden clear. All that restless concrete looks surprisingly sincere. The city in honey light, under the open air. I like the way the whole world shines a little softer there. Maybe that is what I wanted, not escape, not being gone, just enough distance from the rush to hear another song. A smaller, lower, warmer one, played in glass and dusk and air, while the city keeps its movement and we keep sitting there. The city in honey light, leave the windows warm, leave the table half in sunlight, half in evening form. The city in honey light, I think I know it now, how height and gold can make the heart unfasten somehow. The city in honey light, amber below the rail. Rosé before sunset, pink in the evening glass. A little sky held low enough to let the daylight last. You stand beside the terrace edge and watch the rooftops glow, like everything below us has agreed to take it slow. I say the color suits the hour, you say the hour suits the drink, and both of us pretend we don't know what the other thinks. The sky is still forgiving, the night is still away, and something in that maybe makes the whole thing wanna stay. Rosé before sunset, pink before the blue. A little fading daylight, looking better next to you. Rosé before sunset, hold the color there, on the glass, the sky, the wrist, and in the evening air. A breeze lifts one loose strand of hair, you tuck it back in place, and all at once I know exactly why some hours ask for grace. Not big gestures, not loud music, not a room that wants to show, just a rail above the street and a color moving slow. No need to say much louder, no need to move too fast. Some shades look best while changing, and some feelings while they last. Rosé before sunset, pink before the blue. A little fading daylight, looking better next to you. Rosé before sunset, hold the color there, on the glass, the sky, the wrist, and in the evening air. Maybe that's what beauty is, a color nearly gone, still warm enough to touch the skin before it passes on. And maybe that is why I stay at the rail beside you now, to catch the softest part of change before it leaves somehow. Rosé before sunset, stay till pink turns thin, let the first cool edge of evening not quite settle in. Rosé before sunset, I think I see it clear, how fading light can make a room and one good face appear. Rosé before sunset, pink on the rim. Apricot sky above the rail, soft fruit color on the stone, the kind of evening that feels painted, more than weather, more than known. You lift your glass and look halfway out, halfway back at me, and everything the city is seems easier to leave. A bus turns slowly at the corner, the windows catch the hue, and all the practical things below look tender from this view. I didn't know a sky could make the whole room speak this low, or make a simple terrace table feel like somewhere meant to go. Apricot sky above the rail, stay where we can before it has to leave. Apricot sky above the rail, warm over wood and glass. I think some beauty only works because you know it cannot last. You ask me if I always watch the color more than the time. I say only when the air feels right and the company feels kind. The waiter folds a small receipt but leaves it out of view, as if the place itself respects the architecture of this hue. No one is in a hurry, no one has raised a voice, and even that small courtesy feels like a beautiful choice. No need to say we're staying, the hour already knows. It leans against the terrace rail, and in the apricot it shows. Apricot sky above the rail, stay where we can see how the evening learns a softer shade before it has to leave. Apricot sky above the rail, warm over wood and glass. I think some beauty only works because you know it cannot last. Maybe that's what makes me listen harder at this time. The colors tell the truth so briefly and then slip out of line. But while they stay, they make the room feel rare, and all the words between us find a lighter kind of air. Apricot sky above the rail, keep the terrace warm with the final sweet side of the day. Take it slow in careful form. Apricot sky above the rail, I think I understand why some evenings leave their color long after they leave the land. Apricot sky above the rail, soft fruit in the air. Bronze light on the table, wood made warm by dusk, a little darker than gold, a little softer than trust. You rest your wrist beside the glass and let the silence sit, like you know exactly how to make a room inhabit itself. This is the hour I like, when brightness learns restraint, when everything grows richer without becoming faint. Bronze light on the table, stay upon the grain, make the evening feel like something I can hold without a name. Bronze light on the table, low warmth on the wood. I didn't know the end of day could look this quietly good. You ask me if I think places, remember who they hold. I say maybe in the scratches, in the glasses and the gold. The waiter clears the smaller plate, the bottle leans halfway, and every little sign of time makes me want the hour to stay. No need for dark or midnight, no need for a loud display. This bronze line across the table has already found the way. Bronze light on the table, stay upon the grain. Make the evening feel like something I can hold without a name. Bronze light on the table, low warmth on the wood. I didn't know the end of day could look this quietly good. Maybe I came for the terrace, maybe I came for the drink, but now I stay because the room has given us the time to think. And now the thinking turns to feeling by the time the sunlight bends into the softer bronze that says some daylight doesn't end, it descends. Bronze light on the table, keep the room half bright. Let the wood and glass remember how the day became the night. Bronze light on the table, I think I understand why some hours never leave you once they've touched your hand. Bronze light on the table, low on the wood. The talk turns easy after the second sip, after the first few careful lines have loosened at the lips. You ask me what I miss the most from versions of my past. I tell you it's the way they thought some good things always last. You don't try to fix the answer, you don't try to make it light. You just let the room grow warmer and the sunlight stay in sight. The talk turns easy the longer that we stay. The more the room forgets to rush, the more the words find shape. The talk turns easy when the glass is half gone. Somehow the quiet opens up and lets the heart move on. I ask you what you hoped for before this spring arrived. You look down at the spoon and say, just to feel more alive. Not in some giant shining way, not all at once, not loud. Just in a room where someone hears the parts you don't say proud. No movie line between us, no perfect golden phrase, just the comfort of a table that is teaching us to stay. The talk turns easy the longer that we stay. The more the room forgets to rush, the more the words find shape. The talk turns easy when the glass is half gone. Somehow the quiet opens up and lets the heart move on. Maybe this is why I like the middle of the day. Not the entrance, not the leaving, but the hour when guards break. When the menu lies forgotten and the plates grow still, and all the things we almost hide turn human by their will. The talk turns easy and suddenly I see how something soft and ordinary can become a memory. The talk turns easy, stay here till the light turns gold. I think the best parts of the day arrive once we let go. The talk turns easy, stay and let it do. Salt, citrus, slow evening. On the rim and on the plate, a little bright arrangement that tells the room to wait. You push the dish toward me, I slide the glass to you, and all the smallest gestures feel more graceful than they do. At noon when everyone is busy, at night when everyone goes deep, but here the pace is measured and the air is built to keep. The hour has just enough softness, the table has just enough space for little tastes and little pauses to change the whole pace. Salt, citrus, slow evening, keep the flavors near. A little bite, a little brightness, in the city somewhere clear. Salt, citrus, slow evening, stay inside the glass. I think the best part of the day might be how slowly it can pass. You say the prettiest time of day is when the light still listens, when every rooftop keeps some warmth and nothing's asked to finish. I say that's maybe why I like aperitif more than dinner. It leaves more room for talking and doesn't make the mood grow heavier. The waiter leaves the water, the little bowl, the nuts, and even those plain details seem polished enough for us. No need for darker feelings, no need for midnight's claim. This light, this table, this little salt already knows the game. Salt, citrus, slow evening, keep the flavors near. A little bite, a little brightness, in the city somewhere clear. Salt, citrus, slow evening, stay inside the glass. I think the best part of the day might be how slowly it can pass. Maybe grace is not complicated, maybe charm is not a show. Maybe it tastes like one small olive and a line of evening gold. Maybe it sounds like lower voices and plates touched down with care, and one good face across a table in the warm, unhurried air. Salt, citrus, slow evening, leave the table bright. Not loud enough to call attention, just enough to hold the light. Salt, citrus, slow evening, I think I know it true. How little elegant details can make the hour new. Salt, citrus, slow evening, salt on the rim, golden view. Hold the sun a little longer, don't let it slip just yet. The rail is still warm underhand, the bottle isn't empty yet. You glance once at the street below, then back into the glass, like maybe leaving right away would waste what this could ask. I know the day is closing, I know the light must move, but some good things deserve the grace of being watched all the way through. Hold the sun a little longer, hold the golden view, hold the line across the table and the warmth across from you. Hold the sun a little longer, we don't need more than this. A terrace, a drink, a low-lit view, and one more almost kiss. You ask me if I'm always this reluctant when things end. I say only when the hour feels like like something I should defend. Not from danger, not from loss, just from the speed of clocks, from the careless way a good small scene can slip beyond your hands. No grand forever in it, no perfect line to prove, just wanting one good evening to finish at the pace it chose. Hold the sun a little longer, hold the golden view, hold the line across the table and the warmth across from you. Hold the sun a little longer, we don't need more than this. A terrace, a drink, a low-lit view, and one more almost kiss. Maybe that is what I trust about the edge of day. It doesn't force the dark too fast, it lets the colors stay. It lets the heart admit a little more than noon allows, and makes an ordinary table feel important somehow. Hold the sun a little longer, stay until the last warm line slides off the glass and terrace rail and settles into time. Hold the sun a little longer, I'd rather miss the rest than hurry out of golden light before it gives its best. Hold the sun a little longer, last warmth on the rail. Last gold on your sleeve before the sky turns pale. A thin warm line still holding to the fabric by the rail. You lift your glass to answer something I have confessed, and for a second all the evening looks exactly as it should. I like this final brightness, the part that doesn't stay. It makes the smallest glance feel larger than the day. Last gold on your sleeve, stay before it slips. A little line of evening on your shoulder and your wrist. Last gold on your sleeve, hold the warmth there still. Some things become more beautiful at the edge of what they will. You ask me if I think the light changes how we speak. I say not the dark itself, but how the one line grows brief. It teaches us attention, it teaches us to stay a little closer to the words that daylight keeps at bay. No rush toward midnight, no need to fall too deep. The last warm line of sunlight already says enough to keep. Last gold on your sleeve, stay before it slips. A little line of evening on your shoulder and your wrist. Last gold on your sunset view. Last gold on your sleeve. Keep the terrace mild. Let the final warmth of daylight stay a little while. Last gold on your sleeve. I think I know it now, how one thin line of evening can change the whole room somehow. Last gold on your sleeve. Gold before it fades. One more pour before sunset. The bottle still has gold. Not in the wine, but in the way the glass keeps evening slow. You ask me if I need to go. I look once at the rail, then back at all the warmth still left, and say not quite just yet. The waiter nods as if he knows this hour by the hand, the kind that never has to beg to make you understand. The day is almost finished, but not enough to leave. Some of the best parts of an evening happen while the light still breathes. One more pour before sunset. One more little stay. One more bright and patient minute before the gold gives away. One more pour before sunset. Let the table know that sometimes not yet is enough to make the evening glow. You say the nicest part of dates is when the plan runs thin, and all that's left is whether both still wanna stay within the room, the rail, the open air, the sound of lower talk, the way the city never leaves but doesn't interrupt. A warm line touches both our sleeves, then thins along the glass, and every small refusal to rush makes the moment last. No promise needed in it, no polished future line, only one more careful pour inside this borrowed time. One more pour before sunset. One more little stay. One more bright and patient minute before the gold gives away. One more pour before sunset. Let the table know that sometimes not yet is enough to make the evening glow. Last warm line on the glass, the final stripe of sun, holding to the stem and table like it is not quite done. You watch it with the same still look you've worn all through the hour, a look that makes the smallest thing feel somehow full of power. Not force, not pressure, not demand, just patience in the light. And all at once I understand why some evenings stay bright. Not because they dazzle, not because they overwhelm, but because they leave one last warm line and let the heart feel held. Last warm line on the glass, stay before you go. You have made the whole room gentler just by moving slow. Last warm line on the glass, hold the table true. If golden hour has one final word, I hope it sounds like you. The waiter clears the smaller plates, the bottle leans near done. The terrace keeps its open air, though most of day is gone. Still nothing here feels hurried, still nothing asks for more than one more look across the wood and one more breath before the color leaves the railing, the warmth leaves off the cloth. The city keeps its living and the room keeps what it caught. No need to call it ending, no need to make it grand. Some hours leave their deepest mark by slipping through the hand. Last warm line on the glass, stay before you go. You have made the whole room gentler just by moving slow. Last warm line on the glass, hold the table true. If golden hour has one final word, I hope it sounds like you. Maybe that's why I will remember, not the label or the time, but the way the final sunlight rested on the edge of wine, and how the room stayed careful, how the terrace held the air, how the day became more beautiful just because we sat there. Last warm line on the glass, leave a trail